It began as a typical late-night segment, with laughter, applause, and the electric energy of a studio audience ready to be entertained. Jimmy Kimmel welcomed Brad Pitt onto the stage with his usual charm and jokes, poking fun at the actor's latest film and his ever-iconic status in Hollywood. Pitt played along at first, his trademark smirk firmly in place, adjusting his suit jacket as he waved to the crowd. But underneath that smile, something seemed off. The mood shifted subtly when Kimmel brought up a sensitive topic, something personal, maybe even painful. It was too early in the interview to veer so far off course, and Pitt's reaction wasn't just discomfort. His eyes narrowed slightly, and the atmosphere turned noticeably tense. The audience laughed, but it was the nervous kind. Still, Kimmel pushed forward, likely thinking he was steering toward comedy gold, unaware that he was digging into something Pitt wasn't willing to joke about. "You really want to go there, Jimmy?" Pitt said with an edge in his voice that the microphone couldn't soften. Kimmel laughed, trying to play it off, clearly thinking it was part of the bit. But Pitt didn't laugh. He shifted in his seat, body language becoming stiff, guarded. Kimmel, sensing something real, paused for a moment. The silence was strange, charged. "It's just a joke, Brad," he said. But the tone was suddenly defensive, not playful. Pitt leaned forward, his voice low but firm. "Not everything's a punchline, man." The studio grew quiet, and even the crew behind the cameras froze, unsure whether to cue the next segment or stay put. Kimmel tried redirecting to another topic, reaching for his blue cards, but Pitt wasn't having it. What followed was an uncomfortable back and forth that quickly spiraled into something unscripted. Pitt's frustration was real, raw, and completely off-brand for the usually composed actor. What triggered it exactly? Kimmel had mentioned Pitt's custody battle, an area the actor rarely, if ever, talks about publicly. He framed it as a joke, something along the lines of, "Do you get visitation rights for your Oscars too?" The line got a few chuckles, but Pitt's face fell instantly. He didn't respond right away, which made the moment even more powerful. His silence said more than any outburst could have. Kimmel, feeling the slip, tried to recover, backpedaling fast, but the damage was already done. Pitt looked over to the producer's booth, shook his head slightly, and removed his lapel mic. The audience gasped. No one expected that. A-listers don't just walk off shows, not live, not in front of millions. But Pitt stood up slowly, his expression calm but unreadable. He didn't make a scene. He just said, "I don't need this," and started walking off the stage, leaving Kimmel speechless. The aftermath was chaos. The cameras panned quickly to the band, who began to play as a cover-up, but it was too late. The internet had already clipped and posted the moment, and it was going viral before the next commercial break. Viewers couldn't believe what they were seeing. "Brad Pitt storms off Kimmel after awkward joke," the headlines wrote themselves. Social media lit up. Clips of the tense exchange were shared with commentary, theories, even breakdowns of Pitt's body language. Fans took sides. Some defended Pitt, saying Kimmel crossed a line by bringing up such a private topic. Others argued that it was just a joke and that Pitt overreacted. Either way, the footage became the most talked-about moment in late-night TV in years. Kimmel returned after the break, visibly rattled. He made a half-hearted joke about actors being sensitive, but it didn't land. The mood was off. Everyone watching could feel it. Kimmel issued a statement the next morning, trying to downplay the drama. He said the moment was unexpected and that he respected Brad deeply. But the phrasing felt PR-approved and not particularly sincere. Meanwhile, Pitt's team released nothing. No tweets, no publicists speaking out, no follow-up interviews, just silence. That silence, of course, only fueled speculation. Rumors circulated that Pitt had been on edge due to ongoing legal proceedings or personal struggles. Others suggested it was a calculated move, a way to control his narrative and make it clear that some lines shouldn't be crossed. Whatever the truth was, the moment became bigger than either of them. It wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It was a cultural moment. It sparked debates about boundaries, mental health, and the pressure celebrities face to laugh off everything, even when it hurts. And still, no word from Pitt. That made it all the more intriguing. News outlets dissected every second of the footage. Body language experts were brought onto morning shows. Was Pitt truly angry, or had it been planned? Did he flinch before the question? Did Kimmel look guilty afterward? Everyone had a theory. Memes flooded the internet, some mocking the situation, others expressing support. Hashtags like Team Pitt and Kimmelgate trended for days. Even celebrities chimed in. Some subtly supported Pitt, liking tweets about respecting privacy, while others defended Kimmel's comedic approach. What was once a 90-second TV moment became a week-long media spectacle. The show's ratings surged temporarily, but Kimmel looked visibly shaken in his next few episodes, avoiding personal topics altogether. It was as if a new line had been drawn in late-night comedy, one no host wanted to cross again. And Pitt? He went quiet, only spotted once in public, leaving a restaurant with his head down, no entourage, no smile. For fans of Brad Pitt, the incident revealed a more human, vulnerable side of the actor. He's long been perceived as cool, detached, even aloof in interviews. But this time he showed real emotion, maybe anger, maybe hurt, but definitely authenticity. It resonated with many who are tired of the forced smiles and robotic PR responses that dominate Hollywood. Pitt's silence spoke volumes. His decision to walk off instead of argue, explain, or even retaliate with words was seen by some as mature, even courageous. It reminded people that celebrities are people too, not just entertainment machines. Some media critics applauded the move, calling it a rare boundary drawn on live television. Others questioned the professionalism of both men. But regardless of interpretation, the moment shattered the illusion of scripted TV. For once, the polish slipped, and people saw what lay beneath, and they couldn't stop watching. Kimmel's team scrambled behind the scenes. According to anonymous sources, producers were furious. Not at Pitt, but at the lack of segment vetting. Apparently, Kimmel had added the joke last minute, thinking it would land. It didn't. Staff were warned to be extra cautious with future scripts, and guest pre-interview protocols were quietly revised. Pitt, meanwhile, was reportedly approached by other talk shows for exclusive interviews to clear the air. He declined them all. He had no interest in clarifying anything. That only added to the mystique. For days, news cycles recycled the footage, cutting it with dramatic music, analysis, and slow-motion close-ups. It became content. It became commentary. But for Pitt, it was probably just a line crossed, too personal, too uncalled for. The irony? His refusal to engage only made the story bigger. People wanted resolution, and he gave them none. Sometimes, silence is louder than a speech. Eventually, the buzz faded, as all viral stories do. New controversies, new celebrity moments took its place. But the clip remained, embedded in pop culture memory, cited in top 10 walk-offs lists and used as a case study in media courses. Pitt returned to the public eye gradually, on his own terms. Film festivals, charity events, quiet interviews where the topic was never touched again. Kimmel went on hosting, though fans noticed a change. Less edge, more restraint. The line between comedy and cruelty had been redrawn. Audiences began to expect more sensitivity from their hosts, more humanity from their guests. And that single moment, tense, unscripted, and unforgettable, was a big part of that shift. Pitt's storm-off wasn't just about a joke. It was about dignity, pain, and the limits of public performance. It was about one man saying, "Enough," and the world watching in stunned silence. In the years to come, that moment will likely be remembered not as a scandal, but as a turning point. It was raw, uncomfortable, and very real. For all the late-night antics and Hollywood gloss, it stood out as something that couldn't be packaged neatly. Whether it was right or wrong, whether Pitt overreacted or Kimmel overstepped, the incident revealed truths about celebrity culture, privacy, and performance. It showed that even icons have limits, and that those limits deserve respect. Maybe it wasn't about walking off a stage. It was about walking away from being everyone's punchline. Maybe that's what made it stick. No staged drama, no pre-rehearsed banter, just a man drawing a boundary in front of millions. and for a brief moment, everyone watching stopped laughing and started listening. Pitt left the stage, but what he left behind was a moment that echoed far beyond the applause.